and glad that you're back with us again. And is that a rare Hawaiian drink or just coffee?
Coffee.
7 o'clock here.
Okay.
Oh, Herm.
Good to see everybody. Susie, how is your arm? You're muted, which is lovely, but Susie, you're muted.
Thank you for asking. Everybody watch out. I'm back on the road. Today is my first day in 6 weeks that I get to drive. So be careful if you see my my car on the road, move over.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. And Barbara, good to see you. Barbara, how are you? Barbara, my favorite Minnesota person. And we see all kinds of people. My God, what's going on? And Abby, smile. Give me a smile. Yeah, that was forced. Okay.
Good morning, Rabbi. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's delightful. It's wonderful. Joanne, I love your picture.
Thank you.
Hi, Kitty.
I'm also a Minnesota person, Rabbi.
Pardon?
I'm also a Minnesota person, Rabbi.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, really.
I'm a Minnesota person through marriage, Rabbi. My husband's a Minnesotan.
God, all you people must be so happy now with this weather. Okay. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Baruch atah Eloheinu haolam asher nishar b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'nasot b'divrei Torah. It's great. I'd like to introduce everyone to Herman. Herman seems to be here. And it's really great to see you, Herman. How have you been?
Absolutely fantastic, Rabbi. I will be here for 2 weeks with your permission.
Well, we'll take a vote on it after class is over.
Okay.
We'll see. We run as a democracy. Okay, Effie votes no.
I figured he would.
That's fine. That's so usual. Okay, starting off with a very carefully phrased major announcement. And Hannah Gohl, I may need your help with this. Saturday morning, December 25th. Saturday morning, December 25th. And Saturday morning, January 1st. Read my lips. There will be Chevra Torah. Okay? That's the short announcement. And I would love somehow to get that into the bulletin too as a special notice. We stop for nothing. For those of you who weren't there that one happy day when there was a bomb threat at University Synagogue and the dogs were going, Diane's nodding her head. There were dogs going through the building, checking things out. Yeah, Lynn, right? And the place was totally shut down. Chevra Torah conducted its class where?
In the street.
In the street.
On the sidewalk. Outside, nothing stops us. Okay?
That's right.
What's the January date again, Rabbi? I'm sorry. I got December 25 and January what?
First,
Christmas and New Year.
Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
January 1st? Okay.
January.
Every Saturday, Doris.
I know. I don't have my calendar.
Every.
Just waking
So
up.
the major point is we do not take a break.
Okay.
This does not mean that Shabbos dinner, December 24th, should not be Chinese food. That's separate. Okay, that's a separate thing.
That's my anniversary. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. So for the rest of the calendars is fairly empty. Last night at services, began announcing vacation. I think the temple is going to be, like emptied out for 10 days The staff is going to be on vacation. No programming much, except this evening, Jim Ruxin. Where are you? There's Jim in the corner. What do you have, Jim?
We have a wonderful film called Philomena, starring Judi Dench, who's the wonderful British actor, and Steve Coogan, who co-wrote the script. You may not know him as a wonderful actor, but he is. And it's the story of 40 years prior, Judi Dench was a teenager who was pregnant and was forced into a convent where the young girls there, also pregnant, were forced to deliver their babies, and the babies were taken from them and given away to others for adoption without their consent. And it's the story of her as a senior adult trying to find her son. She knows where he was delivered, but the trail turns very cold because the surviving nuns at the convent are stonewalling the information they have about him. And Steve Coogan plays a reporter who has issues of his own and discovers her story and decides to write a book about her and becomes her very closest friend in the search. So it's a lot of different films combined into one. Wonderful performances, great theme. I won't ruin the ending for you, but there is resolution at the end, as painful as it is. But that's life. And I welcome all of you, especially our Hawaiian friends, because it's so easy for you to attend. 7:30 tonight, Pacific time, Philomena, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay with her? I mean, she's
Okay, that's great.
On Netflix, Jim, I got.
Netflix, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Okay, Netflix. Okay, so that's great, and that's what we're doing. So today, let's see, what is Steve? We've always done Chinese on Christmas Day after the movies. Christmas Day, I don't really approve. I think it should be Erev Yontif, but I mean that's fine.
I think you're in the Rabbi. I think you're in the minority.
Really?
Yeah, and if you read all the signs in front of the Chinese restaurants, they always talk about Christmas Day because they were the only ones that were open.
Yeah, well, okay.
One movie note, if you allow me, there is a short film called Have a Very Jewish Christmas, and it's set in a Chinese restaurant where a Jewish family goes on Christmas Day for dinner, and the entire staff sings Christmas carols that were written by Jewish composers, and the entire staff is people of color, and they're singing and dancing in the kitchen and around the tables, and it's a jolly good time. But it's a much in-demand movie, so the distributor has chosen to ask $750 to screen it. So you'll forgive us if the 20 of us don't like cough up the money to see it, but maybe someday we'll get it.
Where can we see it, Jim? Where is it?
It's on, well, I don't know that it's on Hyflix or Menemsha Films. I don't think you can see it any other way because this is their evergreen holiday gem that probably supports them for a couple months out of the year.
What's it called?
A Merry Jewish Christmas, or Dreaming of a Jewish Christmas.
Dreaming of a Jewish Christmas. Okay, we're going to move on. Now we are fully into the spirit of the season. And just to stop for a moment and do some checking in, anything new happening, hopefully good, but even if difficult, to share with us so that the community can participate. Diane.
This is the first time I'm going on the airplane trip with my 13-year-old grandson. And he's excited, and I'm very excited also.
Where are you going?
We're going up to see Barry. Barry lives up north, and we're going up there.
Fantastic. Please send our regards. Please do that. Terrific. And wear your mask at all times. Okay. Anything else going on that you, Suzanne? Susie, yes?
At the end of the week, we are finishing our collection of towels for the homeless shelter. And we have a lot of gift bags all ready to be loaded in cars for delivery next Friday morning. We need some drivers just for a half an hour. Contact me if you would be able to come on the 24th to load up your car with some gift bags to take to the shelter on the corner of Cloverfield and Olympic. Simple job, but a great mitzvot. Great mitzvot. Okay, thank you. Just contact me, email or phone.
Thank
Love
you.
your puppy. Love your puppy.
Okay, Effie.
Yes, the memorial service for Rabbi Freeling last week was beautiful. And there was quite a number of people in attendance.
Yeah, I was there virtually. And yes, indeed, and well deserved. Definitely well deserved. I learned a lot too. So that was interesting. Anything else in terms of personal life, family life, health? Everything else good? Hi, Barbara. Good morning. Yes, Lady Jones.
I am getting together the train set. I called the Hamilton, Bradford Exchange about the Budweiser Clydesdale horses train set for my grandson. Just getting that together is so exciting because my son played train sets with his dad. So
Yeah, that's great. I used to love watching the Clydesdale horses on the Super Bowl. For me, that was the best part of the Super Bowl. But and the dog that was with them. Okay, so today is a siyum. Doris.
I'm just going to say a mitzvah. My son got married over the weekend, and they had a magnificent, beyond fabulous wedding at Hillcrest, and it was beautiful. And they're in Italy today as we speak, and having a honeymoon. So that's it. It was wonderful.
I am in Santa Monica. Okay, not in Hawaii, not in Italy, nowhere. Okay, now today we do a siyum. We have the conclusion of the study of the book of Genesis. We have a brief ceremony that occurs. I'd like to ask you, please. Cindy, by the way, do you have anything to show me? I mean, not really, huh? Okay, another year gone by. Okay, maybe next year, right?
Well, we have some plans for next year. We're going to do a Zoom on ethical will in January. We don't have a date yet. We're doing a Mahjong tournament. We're doing a high tea learning in March. We're doing a Shavuot dinner, but nothing this month.
Okay, that sounds great. And I'd like to have everyone understand that Cindy has assured me that for the high tea, there will be cucumber sandwiches. And that you must have cucumber sandwiches for high tea. Otherwise, it's not high tea. Now, please turn to page 316 in the Plow. And in the WRJ 296, we're in Genesis chapter 30, verses 22 to 26. Do I have a reader? Please just lift a hand and to be a reader for these last verses. Anyone want to read? Okay, Lynn, thank you. 22 to 26 on page 316 in the Plout.
Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's household, and Joseph lived 110 years. Joseph saw Ephraim's grandchildren, the children of Machir, Manasseh's son, were born on Joseph's knees. Joseph then said to his kin, I am dying, but God will surely take care of you and bring you up out of this land to the land that God promised to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Joseph adjured Israel's children, saying, God will surely take care of you. Bring my bones up from this place. Joseph died aged 110 years. They embalmed him, and he was put into a coffin in Egypt.
Okay, now we say the phrase will be chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, let us be strong, let us strengthen one another. Let's say it together. Chazak,
Chazak,
chazak, v'nit chazek. Let us be strong, let us be strong, let us strengthen one another. By the way, and Mazel Tov, everybody. And there's a little note on 316 right under the Hebrew that for people who gather data like this, the some number of verses in the book of Genesis is 1,534 verses. So that if anyone comes up to you during the day today, maybe at Starbucks, and says, oh, hey, by the way, how many verses are there in the book of Genesis? You can simply drop off 1,534, and that will be very impressive. Very impressive. Okay. And want to point out here that children born on somebody's knees is really an adoption statement. So what we're saying is that Joseph took his grandchildren, his children, in as members of his immediate family and recognized them and accepted them. And Joseph says, I am dying, and we'll get to that verse a little bit later. In verse 25, the word adjured may not be one anyone here but the lawyers or whatever handle, but adjured means made them swear. So Joseph made them swear that, and Israel's children, Jacob's children, made them swear that you will bring my bones up from this place. According to Jewish tradition, according to the Torah itself, later in the book of Exodus, that's exactly what will happen. Joseph's bones will be carried in a coffin from Egypt into the promised land, and he'll eventually be buried near Shechem. So that will occur. Fine. So we have now finished our study. Now we are doing pseudo siyum celebration. We are eating virtually gefilte fish, chopped liver, rugelach, cinnamon, challah, pickled herring. Oh.
I'm eating my cereal.
Cereal? Okay, that's fine. Let's go back and we'll get into the text itself, but this is quite a milestone, and this is nice. The book of Genesis finished once more. We are theoretically 1/5 of the way towards Simchat Torah and another start. So it goes on like that forever. Let's go, please, to Genesis chapter 48, verse 15. Genesis 48:15 in the Plout 308, in the WRJ 286. 308, 286. Let's get over here. Yes. Interesting section. 286. What do we have here? Oops, Plout 308.
$48.15.
Jacob is blind. He's blind. And the text makes clear that he was not able to see clearly. And Joseph had to point out which of the grandsons standing there for blessing would be blessed and in what order. Who else was blind in the generation prior to Jacob?
Isaac.
Isaac was blind. And do you remember what the problem was there? What issue was there with Isaac?
Giving a blessing.
Yes, who said that?
Ray.
Okay, Ray, thank you. And hi, Ray. Isaac couldn't see, so Jacob put on a hairy skin, and Esau came, and Jacob ran away with the blessing. So Isaac was blind. Jacob was blind. The rabbis have a reason for Jacob's blindness. According to a lot of writing in the Talmud, the moment of Jacob's death could have transformed the world. It was of such impact that the entire world could have shifted, because Jacob, according to the rabbis, was given a clarity of vision as to the end time and the coming of the Messiah. When it became clear that Jacob was dying, God blinded Jacob's capacity to see the future. The order of the world did not want anyone to know when the Messiah will come, when the Acharit Hayamim, when the end time will come, and Jacob was stripped of this gift. So now we have Isaac, presumably old age, grew blind. Jacob was blinded, not only old age, so he couldn't see which grandchild, but he lost his capacity to see the future. And so I wrote down a question here. Give me a couple of other kinds. That's not a question. Are there other kinds of blindness? There's the blindness of old age. There's the blindness when God strikes you so you no longer can see forward into tomorrow. There are other kinds of blindness. What other kinds, Steve?
I would say bigotry and bias.
Okay, so there's a, I don't want to ever put words in your mouth. Moral blindness, to be that kind of a thing in which you're caught up in bigotry. Okay, good. Other kinds of blindness. Okay, Marina. Sorry, I'm coughing, sorry.
When one cannot see other person's pain or worries, self-centered blindness.
Wonderful. So Marina is saying that blindness can also be, can I phrase it, a lack of empathy or an incapacity to feel where other people are? Excuse me.
Bless you.
That's another kind. Okay, I see a Lady Donna, then Ray.
I was going to say empathy. You took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, Ray.
Well, Jacob and his mother were both blind to the consequences of their actions of favoritism of one child over the other.
Boy, that's good. Yeah. Blind to consequences. Isn't that interesting? Are there other kinds of blindness that might come to mind? You're pretty much using up my list.
Jealousy?
Yeah. That could be expressed as a form of blindness. There's another one that none of you, oh, Tamara?
Blinded by love. You love someone so much you don't see any of their faults.
You really ought to have the last word. That should be it.
Let me try and top her.
By the light. Yes.
How about blinded by our own unwillingness to see? That is, overlooking our own faults, seeing things through our own lens. It's sort of the other side of empathy, but it's selfishness or self-centeredness.
Isn't it amazing, the category of blindness, how it expands? Ray?
Hi, I was struck by two things. The first is a sort of admiring observation, and the second is an observation that is troubling me as a question. So the first, I'm looking at chapter 48 and verse 19.
Okay.
And one of the things that I most appreciate in Torah is when they give us dialogue, if that's not too trivializing a word, by which we get a sense of the character of the people that we meet. And I am struck by when Jacob Israel says, after Joseph's objection about the crossing of the hands, he says, I know, my son, he too shall become a people, and he too shall be great. Yet his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his offspring plentiful enough for nations. And you can almost hear the condescension in his voice and we've experienced this with people who have tried our patience, when they condescend to us and say, oh, no, that'll be great. That'll be great. And you know that they're handing you a load of hooey, because they're glad handing you and saying, no, this is great. This is great. But you know that this is an affront. And on top of everything else, they are heaping condescension on you and asking you to swallow this affront by glad handing you with faint praise. And I'm pretty sure that that's what character we're meeting in this moment. And I just love it when those vivid moments come through and we recognize personalities that we know in our own era stretching all the way back into the ages. So that's my first appreciation.
Okay, I so much am happy that you selected those two verses. Why? Because I have it in my notes. In verse 18, I read it again last night. Vayomer Yosef el Aviv, and Joseph said to his father, Lo chen avi. And again, Ray, you can hear the voice. That's not right, Dad. Avi. That's what it's saying. Dad, so you're talking to an elderly, dying man, and you get Lochen Avi. Dad, no. We have to do it this way, not that way. And I stopped and loved that little phrase. So much better than all the formal stuff. Lochen Avi, no, Dad. Hey, Dad, come on, man. Let me help you. This is right. And Joseph tried to fix him. And the father and the Hebrew, Vayamayan Aviv, and his father refused, saying, the Hebrew, again, it sounds so real, Ray. Yadati b'ni, yadati. Hey, son, I know. Can you get the dialogue? Hey, Dad, no, come on, man. Pay attention. This is the firstborn. And the father says, I know, my son, I know, but this is what I want to do. That's all. There's no great theology here. It's just, I don't know. It's so much better than a lot of the formal stuff. I see Mara.
Go ahead. So I think this lets us turn the concept of blindness around so that we can say that we should not always condemn blindness, that there are cases where blindness is valuable to us when we cannot see difference and therefore can judge others in different ways and perhaps more positive ways.
That's interesting. We're into a good topic. I mean, it just in general, a really great topic. There is also, is there not, Mara, the sharpening of other senses in many people who are blind. And they are more aware. I can't tell you this, personal experience, but I am told they are more aware of smell or sound or something like that. It's not a compensation. It's a direction, it's a development in another direction. But there is a real strength that comes from adapting to a blindness. Please, lots of hands up. Penina and then Cindy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I think there is an issue, I mean, not an issue, but an emphasis on what's going on with their names, with the names. First of all, we keep seeing now that he's being called Yaakov, not Israel. So there is a threat at that point for the whole existence now of the whole continuation of the Jewish or Israelites nation. And then the sons that were getting the blessing, their names were very significant. One was Menashe, which means that he was taken out of his country. He's countryless. And the other one, Yaakov, means, Israel, or no, sorry.
Ephraim. Ephraim.
Okay, let's go.
Wait a minute.
Reset.
Ephraim, that's right, Ephraim, sorry. Okay, Ephraim is to be fruitful, to be many, to become more generations. God will give me more. That's what Joseph meant by it, that I should become more, and we should become more. So I think Jacob now has this insight. He's a Jacob now. There is a threat there. So it's an end of an era. And he's choosing the one that will show hope and fertility and growth, Ephraim.
Yep,
And the one that's going to be the strongest will be what in numbers. Strength comes in numbers when it comes to a nation.
Have you ever wondered how people come to name their children and what guidelines they have? I remember with each of our three children, not only did we need to name a child after a deceased relative because we're Ashkenazi, not Sephardi or Mizrahi, but we wanted the names to mean something. So our son was named after grandfather Reuben. His name is Ron, R-O-N-N, not Ronald, Ron. And his middle name is Simcha, and the quote, Roni v'Simchi.
Ron hu renana bat Israel. Ron hu renana bat Israel.
Is full happiness, and so forth. And then I read of some of the contemporary names being offered today. I will never criticize anyone, but God, some of them are fantastic. And yeah, they do contain values. I see Carrie, Ray, I see Ray.
Yes, Rabbi, why do you think Jacob was blind to his daughter, Dinah?
That's not going to be much of a conversation. Yes.
Why?
Yes, he was certainly blind to her. And the why is hard from my perspective. Paying a lot of attention to what happens to the women in the world was not a strong suit for many of the men. And
he didn't consider her even enough to cut her out of the inheritance the way he did with Simeon and Levi. She was just ignored. She was even less than being cut out. At least they were acknowledged.
yeah, I just totally agree with you that Dinah doesn't fare all that well. And Jacob, he was blind to his own circumstances. He was blind to what he was doing. And he was blind to the impact on others. And he wanted to hide. And he wanted to hide. And
do you think it was the rape that so destroyed her existence in his mind? Because it's not discussed.
Tamara, do you want to help redeem Dinah a little bit? By the way, Tamara, are you teaching anything special tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning or something? Sunday, a Zoom? Where are you teaching?
No, I'm not. There was something last week on Shabbat, which is why I couldn't be here because I was.
So Sunday morning, there is no teaching for you?
No.
Oh, my calendar is all screwed up. Oh, God. I have now committed a venal crime. Okay, so the comment about Dina is not going to pass by. I'm really confused. I was going to watch tomorrow morning, but now I'm not going to.
What a beautiful name she has, Tamar Eskenazi.
Yeah, but what a great calendar keeper I am. I have it written down from 9 to 10:30 tomorrow morning, watch tomorrow on Zoom. And now I'm not going to do that. Now, what am I going to do tomorrow morning? Okay, so.
Cindy's raising her hand.
No, I closed my eyes and kind of try to figure out an answer to Ray that will do more. Could it have been the rape? Could it have been that she was devalued? Yes, and yes, and yes. And Tamara?
The tradition in the period is you give inheritance and blessings to sons. You don't have blessings and inheritance for women. It changes when you have the story of Tzlofchad's daughters.
Yes.
Nachla, Olga, Milka, Noah, and Tirza.
Oh, that was showing off. You were just showing off. Okay, I couldn't do that. Okay, yes. Those 5 wonderful people. I know a Noah. So first of all, then, Ray, then women would not normally be counted in the blessing category. But secondly, I certainly agree with you on the blindness thing. By the way, I want to throw in another blindness. Sometimes we need blindness to survive, and blindness can be a defense mechanism. I'm not going to go into deep examples, but sometimes when you know something is occurring, you can't do anything about it. You blind yourself to the reality. And let me just say, I blind myself to the reality. And others may do that as well. And one of the significant categories, and had conversation about that last night, was what's going on with our kids or grandchildren. And sometimes when it's not something we can handle easily, we willfully choose not to see it. I think that's a fairly normal adaptive thing. So many different kinds of blindness. There's also a kind of blindness which I labeled in my fantastic notes, which I will sell on eBay to anyone who wishes my notes. Hysterical blindness. And some of that's going on right now in our country. When things are so overwhelming and so difficult, and we are so fraught with anxiety. I can do that without moving my arms. So fraught with anxiety and pain, we stop seeing what's going on as a matter of survival. We just withdraw. And that's happening a lot in the country right now. Right now, people are turning off, turning away in a kind of hysterical reaction to something they can't fix. It's just happening. Hi, Merle. It's just happening and not something that we can control. So here we go. Verse 15. Israel, Jacob blessed Joseph, saying, whoops, he wasn't blessing Joseph. Whom was he blessing? He was blessing Joseph's kids, right? And he said that he's blessing Joseph. Now, how many of you have been to Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem to visit? And what does one see in Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem?
Chagall's windows.
Chagall's windows. And how many windows are there?
Oh, bunch.
Oh, but one split in two.
10.
There are 10 windows, and Steve is correct. One is split in two. There are 11 windows for the 11 brothers, and the Joseph window is Ephraim and Manasseh in a single window. So that's like stained glass Bible criticism, which is something which is pretty interesting as well. So Israel blessed Joseph, saying, the God before whom I walked, my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has shepherded me ever since I came into being until this day, shepherded me. That's a nice word, right? The word shepherd is resh ayin hey. Why is that important? Because I can take the same root and make it my friend, not my shepherd. I can take that root and say, God who has been my friend, not just my shepherd. God who has accompanied me. And by the way, that's a Rashi. I didn't invent that. But Rashi was good enough to see that God shepherding me. Well, you have the image of a dumb sheep. Forgive me. I love sheep, but dumb. And friend takes the relationship between God and Jacob to a different level. But let's look what happens next. Verse 16. The angel who has rescued me from all harm, bless these lads. Look at the sentence structure. Told me about the term angel. The God before whom my fathers walked, God who has shepherded me ever since, the angel who has rescued me. Tell me how we might understand the word angel in this context.
Messenger?
Nina?
It's a partner, like a partner in a job.
Okay, a partner in a job. The angel could be God. That's one way to read this passage. But I have done incredible research because Ibn Ezra stopped me and said, Stan, do research. Look at Exodus chapter 23, verse 20. That's what Ibn Ezra wants us to do. So I'm going to go to 23:20. And no, I don't have all the page numbers, but I will go to 23:20 in Exodus. It'll be in the Sedra Mishpatim, 23:20. And I want to read something interesting there. 23:20. 22, 23, here we are. 23:20. God says to Moses after the Exodus, they'd just been at Mount Sinai, I am sending an angel before you to guard you on the way and bring you to the place that I have made ready. Pay heed to him and obey him. Do not defy him, for he will not pardon your offenses, for my name is in him. It's a very interesting passage. What's with Jacob and angels? When else did Jacob encounter angels? When else?
And the
ladder. Ladder.
Oh. Okay, that works. Where else?
He wrestled the angel.
Okay, you know, it's a pretty full-time occupation, Jacob and the angels. Jacob and the ladder, angels descending and ascending the ladder, Jacob wrestling with the angel at night. Jacob now using language that blurs the distinction between God and an angel. And then in chapter 23 of Exodus, God is described as sending an angelic representative to guide and guard the Israelites.
Yay.
Talk to me about angels. What's with angels? Angels. Okay, Lady Jones.
There are several ways that we interpret angels. And when we parted the Red Sea, that was God, the angels, that was the Lord. In music, Rabbi says, when we sing, we pray, the angels come down, they protect and they guard and they guide us through music. Singing is a way of prayer. God's angels are always observing us and watching over us, and they're watching over Israel all the time. And it's just part of history.
So there's also a tradition that every nation in the world has its guardian angel, and every person in the world has an angel. And every time we do Shalom Aleichem Friday evening, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom.
Okay,
Love it.
we're dealing with angels. Why do angels come into being? What is this interest in angels? Okay, I see over here, Merle.
I'm taking a guess here, but
you mean you don't really know what angels are?
I said it was a guess that supposedly God is everywhere, but God's one being, so God has all these angels to watch over us. And to go back to the comment about friends and all of that with angels, that I'm thinking that they're like our support system that we don't necessarily know is there.
Okay, a support system we don't know is there. Angels keep the place running. Steve and then Mara.
I think they're there mostly because we're not supposed to truly be able to comprehend God and his form or his speech. So by having an angel that is something more akin to a human in perception, it's a way to experience God without being totally overwhelmed.
It's a way to experience God without being totally overwhelmed. Terrific. Okay, thank you. Ray.
Thank you. Actually, that's a good overlap with what I'm thinking about as well, experience God without being overwhelmed. I'll say something that will possibly perturb at least some members of this group. I'm sorry if that's you. My perspective seems to be, for some time now, encountering Torah as very substantially a creation of the hand of human beings, and as such, very much a expression of human impulse and human needs. And I'm struck by a overlapping interest among multiple religions in finding a way to take the abstract experience of God and tether it to earth. And whether we're talking about, I see I've offended Merle Weiner, who has just left us. I hope I don't offend anyone else yet. But
yet.
So I think there is a very compelling human wish for a tangible corporeal expression of our experience of God. And I think these angels in our Torah are a reflection of that. I would go so far as to say that the development of Christian belief and Jesus as God made man is another expression of that we have a relentless human thirst to corporealize the otherwise incomprehensible, and it takes many forms of expression in our many liturgies. And I see a family resemblance between our conceiving of angels and our Christian sisters conceiving of the Son of God and God made man.
Thank you. I'm going to have comments on that, Mara.
I actually had a different question in looking at verse 16, where it says the angel who redeemed me. And my question is, aside from those who believe that God delegates, that God redeems, angels don't redeem, God redeems. And I was wondering if there was a significance in the fact that the verse says the angel who redeemed me.
The quick answer I'm going to offer is that in the real world, in Bible study here, the line between God and angel is very blurry.
Yeah, that's what this says.
It's very blurry. And sometimes when referring to God, angel, God, it's not altogether clear that there's an intended difference. So I want to go back. If Ray, you were worried about upsetting people, I am right on track now. Oh, we're running out of time. I am right on track now for upsetting people. Speaking personally, not in any terms of scholarship or wisdom. I don't have that anyway. But speaking personally, one of the greatest problems in philosophy is trying to connect an infinite, abstract, non-corporeal God with our world. Christians have that problem. Jews have that problem. Pretty much everybody has that problem. We don't like to say it, but we have it. How does the infinitely pure and perfect touch Stanley Davids? For God's sake, that's a stretch. How does that happen? And one of the ways in which, one of the major ways, is to create intermediaries. And the creation of the notion of the Christ, we're in season, is precisely that. Remember the image of Father, Son, Holy Spirit? There has to be something that connects God to us. It can't be direct, because God is infinitely perfect and beyond comparison. And how can in any way we have contact with God? So I can see scowls spreading across my screen, which is why I'm going to end the class quickly. The idea of angels is precisely an expression for me of the same phenomenon. In terms of connecting God and us, it's not that God is too busy, but there has to be something which is sort of perfect, sort of not perfect, and those are the angels. That's in between. We have a very, very, very hard time. By the way, in mysticism, Kabbalah, Zohar, absolutely, one of the ways in which we connect the infinite, pure, perfect God with miserable us, emanations. And as the emanations flow from the infinite, they become less perfect and less perfect, and finally they can touch our world. Mara, you're having a fit, and I would certainly like to ask you, to give you the chance for first rebuttal.
Well, that comes in two forms. The first is I believe that you can, that if you make yourself open to it, you are able to feel God in your life. So that's my first point. And my second point is I'd like to know how this applies to the California Angels baseball team.
Love you more.
You have succeeded in shutting me up.
It's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Okay. Okay. Tamara is going to get a last word because we're running short. Maybe not second last word, but please.
Not a rebuttal at all. It makes perfectly good sense. But what I like about the Hebrew and the Tanakh is that the same word that we translate as angel also simply means human messengers. So malach can be any one of us. And this conjunction that communicates that we can, or other humans can prove to be the connection that we have with the transcendent seems to me built into our tradition. So it's not just the supernatural, but each of us can be a vehicle for that connection with the divine.
So we have malach, meaning angel, but malach also messenger, someone who is carrying out someone else's will. Tamara's point, magnificent. Mara, we are all angels, or we can be angels who express or bring forward what we understand to be the will, the presence of God. So that's great. Penina, short comment?
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so we didn't finish the song. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet, angels who are serving us. And second, even Einstein said that science without faith doesn't make any sense. So take it from there.
God, you drop Einstein into this.
And also the Torah dibra bilshon bnei adam.
Torah
The Torah
speaks in
spoke
human language.
for people to understand.
Yeah. At verse 16, just to mention, every time I go to services at Shira Chadashah, the feminist egalitarian Orthodox service in Jerusalem, when they want to introduce a simcha, they start singing this verse from verse 16. I'm not going to sing, you know that I won't. Yeah. They start singing, the angel who redeemed me, bring joy to this person, to this family. It is a standard way of using this verse to introduce a simcha. And I really like it. I really like it. And the melody resonates in my head, and I have an absolute incapacity to replicate the sound out loud. But I'm hearing it, and that should be good enough for all of you. God, we didn't do, I have so much more. We didn't do all the stuff, but, and next year, we're going to talk about the power of deathbed prayers. We're going to talk about that. So please mark it in your journals, and we will come back and get to this next year. I am going to do Kaddish now, and remember, next week and the week after, the 25th and the 1st, we absolutely will have Chevra Torah in our appropriate time. It is so good to see you. It is such a pleasure.
Thank you. You're our angel.
And I love staring at Joanne's cat. I can't keep my eye off. Okay, so we're going to go. Why am I always happy Saturday morning? We're going to go to the Kaddish list, mentioning those who have passed away during the past month. Aaron Bender, Toby Gold, Stuart Goldman, Shirley Gordon, Yafa, Hagna Zarazada, Wendy Kramer, Mark Levine, Harry Lipman. And those whose yortzites have occurred during this past week: David Abelson, Husang Amini, Nusha Arabian, Alvin Barbanel, Miriam Barron, Constantine Baruch, Lee Bass, Irving Berman, Dorothy Blankfort, Hannah Blankfort, Henry Blankfort, Michael Blankfort, Seal Bloom, Inger Bronston, Julius Brown, Lena Berg, Minnie Kaplan, Barry Chasen, Dora Cohn, Eleanor Kohler, Lillian Corin, Arthur Daum, David Dayani, Zol Dworsky, Isidore Efron, Fred Ehrlich, Francis Fenton, Eve Yavil Spine, Celia Fisher, Harold Florence, Harvey Foreman, Dorothy Goldman, Ethel Goldmark, Julie Goldsmith, Miriam Goldfarb, Marion Grad, William Gray, Susan Hamrell, Jean Hartman, Lawrence Jeffrey Heineman, Daniel Halfount, William Heller, Sheppy Hockenberg, David Warren Hudson, Gordon Allen Hultmark, Ruth Jameson Fine, Robert Can, Steve Kaplan, Molly Karen, Sylvan Katz, Philip Kend, Julian Kleinman, Estelle Kleben, Ralph Kopolov, Shirley Lockman, Gertrude Landy, Sylvan Lebo, Annabelle Leon, Melvin Lynch, Alvin Miller, Sylvia Morgan, Robert Newmeyer, William Pashkow, Jeanette Pastor, Ellen Paul, George Rains, Lorene Randall, Edna Reese, Seymour Rosenthal, Reese Roston, Irving Rubenstein, David Salmonson, Dominic Severin, Bella Tretiak Schwartz, Zachary Seidel, William Scher, Reva Silverstein, Betty Stein, Jeanette Stein, Marilyn Sussman, Estelle Wax, Mindell Wallach, Gary Weiner, Sylvia Weitz, Bessie Woolner, Millie Zlotov. And I apologize to those whose family names I may have mispronounced. We add to the names of all of these those who have died defending the United States, defending the state of Israel, those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. If you would like to add a name to be remembered at this moment, please speak that name out loud now. We will go to Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Yibra Chirute, V'amlich Malchute, V'chayechon Uvyomechon, V'chaye V'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'zman Kariv, V'imru Amen. V'hei Rabbah V'barach, Le'alam L'onel Maya, V'barach, Yishtabach, V'yitfa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal Shmei D'Kudisha, Brichu, Le'elah, Ninkol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbachata, V'nechamata, Da'amiran Yalma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chayim, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'imomav. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Thank you so much for today. Have a beautiful weekend. See you next week, God willing. Be well.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Jeff, I didn't say hi today.
Rabbi, I have a
Hi,
question
Jeff.
for you.
We love you.
Hi. Karen
Rabbi.
Selichek. Hi. Yes.
Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
He's already off, Howard, not Herman.
He called Susan Hamrell. Is that the rabbi?
Who?
He called in during the when he was citing names. He said Susan Hamrell. Is that Rabbi Hamrell?
When did he call it? Who that passed it the last week or
Right now when it was called in names of
No,
Kaddish?
but he had two
No,
groups.
Mimi Hamrell is the rabbi.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Carrie and Ray, have fun in Hawaii. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hi, Epi.
Hello,
Hi, Ray. I hope you're doing better.
Howard. What time is
Yeah.
our lunch on Sunday?
No, Joseph never said his speech.
Yes,
Howard?
about your wife and you. I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
Joseph never made a speech.
Bye,
He never did.
shalom.
I don't remember.
He just dons.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.
One day at a time, everybody. Enjoy it to the max.
Same to you.
Gonna practice my piano now. Go sing Some Enchanted Evening. Some Enchanted Evening. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Have a good holiday season, all.
Same to you. Howard,
What? Yes,
do you know what time our luncheon for the Chevra is on Sunday?
I do not. I'm trying to find it, but I can't see. I don't know.
Maybe 5 or something.
No.
5:30.
That parting messages
You
is
can
still about him.
Do you have Karen's email address?
Yeah. All right. And call Barbara.
I don't think we are fans.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We're still team.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. God.
There you go again.